guys, this is my first ever Pokemon Nuzlocke. I am Maski, and as a reminder, this is not just a Nuzlocke, but a randomized Nuzlocke, where I get one encounter per route, and all of the Pokemon and overworld items have been randomized. In case this is your first time seeing one of my videos, or you want to catch up with the Nuzlocke, there is a playlist in the description. I had a lot of trouble with this one. My audio was recorded wrong. My timer was reset by the program I was using. I moved my entire setup between recording and editing. And on top of that, I had to learn a whole new audio program just to get this done. Honestly, it was a lot of work. This was supposed to be another video with minimal cutting and editing like the first one, but obviously I had to change things up because things changed up on me. So if you like this format of my content or some of the other ones, go drop a like on those videos or this one, and consider subscribing if you want to see more. You can always unsubscribe later. Here is the gist. The last two episodes we managed to find a Makuhita and name him Dumpy, and then promptly lose him to a Combi. I kind of forgot about type advantage for a moment. And now, we kind of had a decent team. Boo the Ghastly, our starter. Orc the Spearow, Surprise the Diglett, and now Stretch the Tyro. But, I'm not super excited about having him on the team, but things can always change. We have been in worse spots and with less Pokemon, so I'm not too terribly upset about what's going on. And, we're just gonna keep going, because this is the third episode and I haven't gotten to the gym yet. Now, normal Nuzlocke rules state that you can only catch one encounter per route, area, building, whatever. This is because the area as a whole typically has one mostly shared pool of Pokemon to possibly encounter. But since this is a randomizer, I decided that both floors could count as their own encounters, since they both had completely randomized Pokemon. Since my first encounter was a Jigglypuff on floor 2 that I ran from for multiple reasons, I lost that encounter. I did, however, catch my second encounter on floor 3, which was Surprise the Diglett. After defeating a Hoot Hoot and finding the Fist Plate, we had one of the most normal encounters that we'll probably see in this entire run, which was a Zubat. And he wasn't really a challenge, but this is where we start to get a feel for what Stretch might be capable of. I know that Tyrogue is a baby, but his moveset is basically garbage until you have some TNs, which I do not, because this is a randomizer, and I did randomize the overworld items. So we're gonna have to see about getting creative on whether we're gonna use them or not. Nowadays, most people playing Nuzlocke use rare candies to keep their teams at usable levels, but I decided not to do that. I did decide, however, to do things the old-fashioned way, which is switch training. And I know that I might be over-explaining this here, but switch training is just having one Pokemon in the battle, switching it out, defeating the other Pokemon with a new one, and getting experience for both of them, because this is a game where the XP share was not applied to everybody. And this took a lot. I made a run back to the Pokemon Center first, and then I went shopping to get myself ready for the grinding session. And then my game crashed. And then it crashed again. After the last crash, I decided to take a little break, and went to go see Iron Lung in theaters, which is a very good movie. I then came back to finish the session. I decided to get a grinding done in the tower, since I thought I'd seen everything there was to encounter, and I wasn't really worried about the encounter pool. However, it was now past 9 PM, and the more experienced of you might remember what I had forgotten a moment. Nighttime changes a lot of the encounters. Enter Slugma. Getting past the fact that I felt like I had lost a prime encounter opportunity and a fire-type Pokemon, I was reminded of a very important lesson in this battle that isn't usually a big problem in casual playthroughs, but I forgot does definitely make a difference in Nuzlocke. That would be status effects. Things like burns, poison, paralysis. Those are the big ones, and they usually mean chip damage or no way to fight back. Since I was traumatized from losing Dumpy, I was gonna be extra careful with my Pokemon during the next couple of run-ins. I battled Sage Troy and defeated him, switch trained a little more, and then I decided that since Boo got to level 10, I was probably just ready to go for it. I was kind of getting impatient, honestly. This was a totally fine decision and had no ramifications at all to my team whatsoever. Sarcasm aside, I did move on. For some reason, I thought this was going to be a rematch with our rival, Zoku. That's what I named him. But he's originally named Silver, and he's the neglected son of Giovanni, leader of the evil Team Rocket that's supposed to be disbanded, but this conversation was just our rival trash-talking elderly. I honestly feel bad for the kid since, you know, his dad kind of prioritized being evil over everything else, including his duties as a gym leader and a father. But we'll get back to that in a later episode. I want to just get this item, which randomized into an opal stone, and now it's time. The Elder starts off by giving me a talk about how this tower is designed to give you a chance to build strong bonds with your Pokemon and learn to love them, which I kind of tuned out because that's kind of the entire point of Nuzlocke. They got so popular because they're done for the love of Pokemon. To encourage you as the viewers and me as a player, or you guys as players, to inherently bond with each and every Pokemon, to try your best to not lose them, and find strategic ways to keep them alive. Starting off with Elderly's first Pokemon, we get Grimer, not a very scary Pokemon, but definitely one to be cautious of since we don't have randomized abilities, and its moveset at level 7 actually has the makings to stall Poison Heal most of my team. Most of them. You see, Grimer has Pound, Poison Gas, Harden, and Mud Slap, which I have an answer to, actually. I went with Boo. She's Ghost type, so Pound doesn't do anything. She's Poison type, so Poison Gas doesn't do anything. And since she has a Levitate ability, Mud Slap actually doesn't do anything either. The only thing this Grimer can do and have any effect is Harden. So we licked the Grimer into submission, and it hardened the entire time, trying to boost its defense. And this is a kid's game. Oh yeah, and then we got enough XP to figure out that Stretch is eventually supposed to become a Hitmonlee. Elderly's next Pokemon was my favorite starter, Totodile, who I was forced to defeat. And he actually didn't put up that much of a fight, actually. I might have said actually twice. Anyways, I switched into Orc, KO'd the Totodile, and it gave us enough XP to learn Fury Attack, which was cool. But the final Pokemon in Elderly's roster left a bitter taste in my mouth. Because as if to taunt me and punish me for my past transgressions, for my lack of preparation and knowledge, the Elder sent out his own level 10 Makuhita. It is here that Stretch shined and my heart changed. But, at this point, Stretch had just been a replacement in my mind for my own lost Makuhita. But I was really wrong. I spent a moment getting over the betrayal that this Makuhita in front of me posed, and I started trying to figure out how to go about this, because obviously Orc would be a great choice. Its Flying Stab move does a good amount of damage, would be the best bet for a KO. But I did forget that he's also a normal type, which was answered by a vengeful 3 hits from an arm thrust. And I quickly switched back into Stretch, thinking maybe he can live an arm thrust. And he did, to be fair. Barely, with 2 HP. And now this became a game of who to sack. This is the part where I spent an embarrassingly long amount of time going back and forth debating to myself on whether I should just change my ruling on using healing items. I didn't set a super clear boundary, but I did originally say that I would only use healing items outside of battle. You see, in a Nuzlocke, most people choose one of 3 rules when it comes to limiting healing items, to keep things challenging and interesting. Option 1, they just ban healing items altogether, only healing at Poke Centers or using a move that might heal you in battle. Option 2, they limit the healing items to a specific number in a battle per section, like 2 items between gyms. Or they choose to limit it based on the number of healing items allowed being equal to however many a trainer's carrying that you're going up against. Like if you're going up against a gym fight, you get 2 full restores or something like that. Option 3 is they just use healing items, there is no ban. Or they do a variation like mine where they only use them outside of battle, but regardless, ultimately a Nuzlocke is a personalized rule set challenge, so, you know. Anyways, these are usually balanced by the use of level caps and multiple encounters, rare candies, and a lot of scary plays and potential sacrifices, or sacks. And that's exactly what I decided to do. You see, I made a deal with myself. I allowed myself to use 1 healing item in this battle in exchange for the loss of one of my dear mons. That mon, I ultimately decided, had to be none other than Stretch the Tyrogue. You see, he still was a long way off from evolving, but he had a chance to actually serve a purpose here, to save the team and to ultimately save the run. I left Stretch in to face his fate, and I healed up Orc, who had the best chance of knocking out the offending Makuhita. All I could do now was sit back and watch. And then he lived? But, you know, a deal is a deal. Stretch had to go. He might as well go out with a parting shot. Not the move parting shot, of course, I don't have any TMs, but he got a last hit in before he went down, which actually helped. Yeah, there we go. Okay, 07's to use Stretch. We did get a clean switch into Orc. We could have switched into Orc after he lived the last hit, but then Orc probably would have gotten hit and possibly died given that there was a focus energy done earlier. And the critical hit would have absolutely made us lose Orc. Stretch had earned his spot on the team by sacrificing himself in the end. With one final peck, Orc had defeated the Makuhita, and we had secured Sprout Tower. This isn't the gym, but we did defeat Elder Lee, and he said he gave us Flash, but that's not what he gave us. Now, with 3 Mons alive and 2 in the dead box, a randomized TM in hand, I was finally done and could leave the tower, although I didn't have an escape room. Then I ran into another Swinub that I could not catch, which is kind of ironic to me. Alright guys, by the way, that TM was Rock Tomb, which, that's cool if Faulkner actually has a flying type, but we'll see about that in the gym. And once again, I know this is a lot shorter than I normally put out, and I'm probably not going to put another one out this short again, unless you guys like it, but we'll see what happens in the gym next episode. You guys have a good one. Bye!